I don't even know how to put this into words. What we just witnessed at Daytona was unreal. One moment, it looked like a dream was finally coming true. And the next, it was gone. Just like that. That's the kind of emotional roller coaster only NASCAR can deliver, especially when it's the biggest race of the entire season. Because this wasn't just another qualifying night. This was about opportunity, about redemption, about an underdog fighting for one single shot to make it onto that grid on Sunday. And for a while, it felt like we were watching one of those stories. The kind that reminds you why you sit through every lap, every duel, every chaotic superspeedway finish. A true feel-good moment. But then, everything changed. And trust me, what happened next is way bigger than it looks on the surface. Before we break it all down, if you're a real NASCAR fan who lives for these moments, the highs and the heartbreak, hit that like button. And if you want real, no BS NASCAR coverage, subscribe to NASCAR Insider News. We're a new channel pushing toward our first 1,000 subscribers, and you're in the right place if you love this sport. Alright, let's get into what actually happened. At the center of all this is Anthony Alfredo. For a few hours, he truly believed he had done it. He believed he had raced his way into the 2026 Daytona 500. Think about that for a second. After missing the race last year, after knowing just how brutally difficult it is for an open team to fight their way into that 4-0 car field, he thought the job was finished. And then, the call came. Alfredo took to social media and said it straight. We're not racing in the Daytona 500. We were disqualified after post-race inspection. Can you even imagine that moment? You're celebrating with your team. You're thinking about lining up in the biggest race of your life. And then suddenly it's over. Just like that. And what makes this even tougher is how he handled it. No blame, no excuses, no pointing fingers. Just pure disappointment, mixed with pride. He said, I don't even know what to say. I hate it for our partners, for Beard Motorsports. Everyone worked so hard. We ran a phenomenal race, and I'm proud of our effort. That right there, that's racer mentality. Because this wasn't just about him. This was about Beard Motorsports, an open team grinding for every single opportunity. This was about sponsors like Dude Wipes, investing in a chance to be seen on NASCAR's biggest stage. For smaller teams, making the Daytona 500 isn't just prestige. It's survival, it's exposure, it's funding for the rest of the season. And here's where it gets even more brutal. Because this happened in a duel race, which, remember, is basically qualifying for the Daytona 500. The penalty can't even be appealed. There's no second chance. No review process. It's final. If this had happened in a regular points race, they could have fought it. But here, that's it. Game over. And still, Alfredo didn't accuse NASCAR of anything shady. He didn't claim bias. He didn't say it was intentional. He admitted it wasn't meant to give any advantage, but at the same time, he understands NASCAR has rules, and they enforce them. He even said he wants to learn from it. And almost immediately, you saw the competitor in him switch back on. He's already focusing on his next race, preparing to get back on track and go for a win, because that's what this sport demands. You don't sit in heartbreak for long. You reset, and you go again. Now let's talk about what actually caused the disqualification. According to NASCAR official Brad Morin, during post-race inspection, they found a hose coming from the right side quarter window. That hose is supposed to be connected to the transaxle cooler, and it has to be completely airtight and properly secured. It wasn't. And that's not all. Another hose, related to driver cooling, was also disconnected. Now, at a superspeedway like Daytona, airflow is everything. Even the smallest change can impact performance, especially in the draft. Morin said they couldn't determine exactly when or how the hose came loose. But from NASCAR's perspective, the competitive impact was enough to warrant a disqualification. He compared it to having a qualifying time thrown out. And since this race essentially sets the Daytona 500 field, Alfredo was sent to the back, which, in this case, means he's out of the race entirely. And NASCAR made one thing very clear. Every car is inspected before the race. Safety checks, windows, hose, connections, everything. So the hose wasn't loose at the start, which means something likely happened during or after the race. But NASCAR's stance? Firm, no exceptions. And here's the part that makes this even harder to accept. If something like this is found after any race during the season, the result is the same. Disqualification. No exceptions. And that's exactly what makes this so tough to swallow. We're talking about a technical issue where officials can't even confirm what actually happened. They don't know when the hose came off. They don't know how it came off. But the rulebook? It doesn't care. No gray area. No debate. Just the outcome. Anthony Alfredo is out. Beard Motorsports becomes the third team eliminated after the duels. And just like that, one of the most emotional underdog stories of Speed Weeks ends in the inspection garage. And as a fan, this is where it gets complicated. Because on one side, rules are rules. This is Daytona, the biggest stage in NASCAR. You can't start bending standards no matter how painful the outcome is. But on the other side, this one hurts. Because you felt how much it meant. You heard it in Alfredo's voice. That wasn't anger. That was disappointment. That was a driver who understands just how rare these chances are. And how quickly they can disappear. And when you zoom out, this moment reinforces something we already know about the Daytona 500. There is zero margin for error. Not on the track. Not in the garage. Not in inspection. Especially for open teams. One small issue, one tiny detail, can erase months of work in seconds. Now as we head toward Sunday, the grid is set. 40 cars will take the green flag. But honestly, it feels like there's one story missing. For Alfredo, this is another setback in a career that's already demanded resilience. But if there's one thing racers do, they bounce back. He's already shifting focus, already talking about winning his next race. And that tells you everything about his mindset. For Beard Motorsports, this is a brutal reminder of how razor-thin the margins are when you're fighting outside the charter system. Every bolt, every hose, every detail has to be perfect. And for us as fans, it's another reminder of what makes this sport so unique. It can be incredibly cruel and incredibly beautiful at the exact same time. The Daytona 500 will go on. The field will roll out. But this moment, it's going to stick. Because we all know, just getting there is one of the hardest things in motorsports. So now I want to hear from you. Did NASCAR make the right call? Or does this feel like one of those technical decisions that's just hard to accept? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're here for real NASCAR talk, the emotion, the drama, the honest fan perspective, hit that like button and subscribe to NASCAR Race Central. We're a new channel pushing toward our first 10,000 subscribers. And if you live for Speed Weeks and moments like this, you're in the right place. I'll see you in the next one. Let's get ready for Daytona.